Freedom Works is a great organization. I hope you guys can participate on September 12th. Those guys are doing a great job. We're getting everybody together. We're going to take this place apart on September 12th, all right? Things are going to shake the foundation of this place. All right, our next speaker is named Ned Ryun. He's the president of American Majority, a national organization that is identifying and training citizens, average everyday citizens, not billionaires, I mind you, to run for the state and local office based on limited government and free market principles. American Majority is also training everyday citizens like you and me on how they can become more active and more effective. All right, thank you. Ned, come on up.
All right, guys. Everybody smile and wave real quick. All right. I think it's great that we're all out here today. Again, I hope that what we're doing today will lead to action. Over 200 years ago, our founding fathers were confronted with an oppressive king in Parliament who taxed the American people without allowing them their own representation and ignored their voices when they pleaded with them for change. Our founding fathers threw off that government and gave us one grounded in principles, a government of laws, not of men. They drew the boundaries of government in bold lines, laying out where government spheres of influence began and where it ended. Their vision of government was not a broad, all-encompassing government, but one restricted that created the freest political space within the bounds of ordered liberty. Our country seems to have lost sight of that proper role of government. But as Tocqueville wrote, the greatness of America lies not in being more enlightened than any other nation, but rather her ability to correct her faults. We love to quote the lines from the Declaration that state all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But we always seem to stop there. The next line is, to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. Governments do not give us our rights. God does. Our government was never intended to coddle us like little children, but to lay out a framework within which we could pursue and achieve our fullest potential. People who are free to develop ideas and products and use their talents to the best of their abilities with as few hindrances as possible will make a nation strong. We have been given a great deal as Americans, but our God-given rights come with responsibilities. We should not only embrace our rights, but we must shoulder our responsibilities as citizens of this great country. Our responsibilities include being good stewards of those rights that have been given to us and choosing the right leadership of this great nation. We have left much undone in both of those areas and find ourselves in a very precarious place as a country. I want to share a story with you. On March 6, 1775, Dr. Joseph Warren, that great son of liberty, stood behind the pulpit of the Old South Meeting House, commemorating the 5th anniversary of those slain during the Boston Massacre. British officers, come to intimidate Warren, sat on the front row, some not so subtly playing with musket balls in their hands, trying to stare Warren down. But he would have none of it. Instead, Warren looked over the heads of the British officers and spoke directly to the gathered Bostonians. Our country is in danger now, but not to be despaired of. On you depend the fortunes of America. You are to decide the important questions upon which rest the happiness and the liberty of millions yet to be born. Act worthy of yourselves. I would say the same to all of us gathered today. The happiness of millions yet to come is dependent upon us. But their happiness is not dependent upon what we say or what we think, but what we will do. The time for talking is over. Action is the soul of revolution. It is time to act upon our beliefs and engage in the process of finding new leadership for this great country by the democratic means laid out for us by our founding fathers. Don't assume that the person standing to your right or to your left is going to save you or your country. Look at yourself in the mirror and ask, what are you going to do to make a difference? Your showing up today is wonderful, but you really haven't done anything yet by just showing up. The left truly does not fear our protesting. The utopian statists fear what it will lead to. Let's make sure we don't disappoint them. Some will look around at our current circumstances and say, but we are confronted with overwhelming obstacles. You mean like facing the world's greatest military power with an army of barely armed farmers? It has been said that freedom begins with an act of defiance. Our founding fathers defied a king, and their defiance actually meant that they could be shot or hung. But they defied him anyway because they believed in the enduring principles of God-given rights and limited government. We're confronted with great challenges, but hardly the challenges our founding fathers faced. Our defiance today, thanks to our wise and courageous forebears, requires simple engagement and activism as a self-governing people. So what are you going to do for freedom and limited government? Are you tired of hearing information on TV or the radio or reading in the newspapers or on the internet that you know is absurd and spun news? Think about becoming a voice of freedom by starting a blog or becoming a wiki contributor. An American Majority will give you those tools to get you started on that path. Do you want to know ways to keep your elected officials accountable? We'll give you that information too. Want to know how to take over your precinct? We'll give you the tools for that. Tired of elected officials ignoring your voice? Why don't you become one and run for local office so you can implement freedom? At American Majority, we are identifying and training up a new generation of leadership and activists who share the same vision of our founders: individual freedom, limited government, the free market, and the rule of law. These were the principles of the American Revolution, and they are the principles of the Tea Party Revolution. We must have those principles as our guiding light in the months and years to come. I want you to come join us in our work at American Majority. You're going to see people handing out aftertheteaparty.com literature. Please take some, sign up to become trained as either a future state or local candidate or as an activist. Changing the course of a nation is never easy, but we are at a crossroads for this nation, a place of choosing. Will we go down this path of utopian statism, or will we return to the vision of our founders? Let us do all that we can to return to the principles which have made America great, made America the freest, most prosperous nation in the history of the world. I want to challenge you to commit to 30 minutes a day between now and November 2010 to work on behalf of freedom. 30 minutes a day. We can all do that. We're Americans with a firm belief in God-given rights, with the ability and the courage to change our circumstances. We must go home from here and act worthy of ourselves. Thank you very much.